So in the previous video, I was specifically talking about how to create the active ragdoll, but today I want to go a bit more in depth on the bone list script and how you can create other functions, which I actually have created in this project right here. I will also be showing you an instance of animation rigging package working. In the model here, I have created some rig layers. And for example, the right hand is actually entirely rigged. And if it is enabled, I can follow it. So let's get started. Now, with the boneless script, as you can see here, and as you saw in the last video, when I populated the script, I could set all these to 1 and update the bone list. I could, now, I can show you that when you're in the active mode, for whatever reason that you might desire, you could even set individual bones as kinematic. Obviously, this could mess with the accuracy of when you hit like a box or something. However, it is there for you to do if you so want to. So let's have the scene load. There might be a bug with the lighting, so I'm going to... Well, disabling the lighting actually makes it a bit worse. But let's start with the kinematic portion here. So let's say I want the head, or actually this arm right here, the right arm, to be kinematic. So I want the entire right arm to be kinematic. Well, I'm going to update it in this script. However, when you're doing this in runtime, and by the way, it works. So if I decide to lower this a bit and move it around and perhaps take it to this arm right here. Yeah. So I click on this arm and see its actual controls here. So this is hand right. Yeah. Actually, this is yeah. This is the left arm, so this works. This is the right arm. So the right arm right now actually has no collisions whatsoever because I decided it won't have any. That's okay. There you go. Well, the left arm still has collisions. Now, as I was saying, if you wanted to do this in runtime, you will not be interacting with the update bone list in here. What you will be doing, however, as I mentioned in the tooltip here, if I stop playing, there should be a tooltip that plays right there. So at runtime, what you will need to do is grab any changes from the bone list shortcut, which these are all getters and setters, by the way. Everything you see here has a getter and setter which you can alter. You then put the bones to add changed bones to list, and you do the bone index from here, and then you update, you call update changed bones, and that will update the bones in runtime for you. The right arm over here actually has is actually following the IK constraint that I created, which is currently stuck to this weapon right here, the right hand trigger. I can move this around and it matches the animation perfectly. 100%. It matches the animation. So you could definitely use this with guns if you want. If you will like to put a collider with the gun and you don't want the hand, to touch the collider, you could definitely go back into the tool and pick the collision ignore tool and add the left hand and the right hand, or even the arms if you want, and give them a layer specific that doesn't touch the weapon layer. For example, you could do that. I gave you have the options to do that. Now, but what if you tell me I want to kill my character? How will I do this? And it's actually pretty simple. Separate to the tool, so you won't be having these functions. You would have to make them yourself. In this case, I created scripts, for example, to kill the character based on an input function that I made. And all I'm doing is basically calling the limit bone angular rotations function, which is actually a public function which will limit all the limbs because I have it in a for loop. So it will go through this right here. So it will go through the boneless shortcuts. It will go through all of them and say, hey, limit all the bones. And then I would set in the root bone, I would set the global position alpha and the global rotation alpha to 0, effectively killing the character. And if I, for example, want him to wake up from death for whatever reason, I have a coroutine that makes him wake up from death. Now, granted, with this character specifically, I have given him angular rotations while still keeping the actual bones themselves free, so that when I limit the bones, the angular limits actually start working. And I'm going to demonstrate the script running right now. Once you actually create the script, what I would suggest is, well, actually do whatever you want, but personally, I put the function right in the root bone. And I could press a button, for example, in this case. Obviously, I would try to have it work on player death, but for this demonstration, I put a key, which is K, and yeah. I'm not giving the script because this is just my script that I actually follow the Unity tutorial to help with the waking up portion of the script. So you can definitely find more help online. Also, I have my own IK solution, which also works. With this stuff, with IK stuff and animation rigging stuff, just do them on the animated model. And if you have position matching, even if you don't, but if you have position matching, this will just follow that. And you're good to go there. This is just nothing there. So if I press kill and we just follow the ragdoll, I haven't fixed the camera for this. So in the scene view, it's not going to look great. But if I kill here, there you go. The ragdoll died. And nothing is working anymore there. So yeah, it works great. Now, also it's important to note that since I actually do have ragdoll limits, in the previous video I advised that if you're going to keep the angular limits free, you should have this on. Now that I'm actually enabling angular limits on death, I turned this off. This basically adds a very, very small force if both position and rotation are turned off. But yeah, if you have angular limits, you don't need this. So, in terms of the boneless script, if we go into that real quick, in terms of getters and setters, they're all right here. These are things you can actually these are things that you can actually use. So particularly you have the handle ragdoll animation list, and as well the non-simulated bone list. As mentioned before, if we turn these off and go straight to this one right here, these are the methods that you would be using if you had to change anything from the handle ragdoll animation list in runtime, which is also mentioned in the tooltip for here. Basically, you do the changes. So I want to have the bone shortcut list change. So I do a change. I want a bone to be kinematic. I do the change. I add that to the add changed bones to list, and you add the index. So you would, if you have multiple bones, you would either put them in a loop or something. And then after you do here, you then write update changed bones. And this will grab all the bones in this list and change them according to the changes that you made. And that's pretty much it. That's all you have to work with. This script is the mother load, basically. It gives you all the things that you would need in all the bones. So all the information is here. If you want to look at each individual bone and how it's being handled, you actually, all you need is to go down here in the automatic section, and you have the handle ragdoll animation list, which has all the simulated bones and what they're doing. And that's pretty much it for this tool. I will be putting this in the asset store, hopefully, and I hope that you find it useful, just as I hope it's going to be as useful for me uh, when I'm making my own games using this tool. I really hope it really does help you. Thank you, and I hope everyone has a great day and a great development experience.